and not visiting parents and grandparents became an act of love. Suddenly we realized that money is not that powerful and power is not that valuable. The situation has taught us that everything our life used to revolve around is so temporary. We don't know when this will end. No one does. But we do know one thing, that it will end one day. And that day we will all look back at what we have gone through, learned, and survived. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our beloved chairperson, Dr. Tarita Shankar, Group Director, Professor Chetan Wakalkar, directors and IGI family, I welcome all dignitaries and students at the 8th edition of Indira Brand Slam Summit and Awards 2021 with the theme From Surviving to Thriving, Reimagining the Post-COVID-19 Return. The live telecast of this grand ceremony is on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube for thousands of our students and alumni members. Thanks to all our social media and print media partners for all pre and post event coverage. Now, in the honor of our great nation, and to salute the fighting spirit of our health workers, army, political leaders, farmers, and to each and everyone fighting the pandemic, let us rise and sing the national anthem of India. We're going to present to you a video. Can we have the video, please?
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्रविड़ उत्कल बंगा
विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा
उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तव जय गाथा गण मंगल दायक जय हे
भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय
Thank you all. Please take your seats. The marketing world is dynamic and ever-changing. Trends and technology and tactics are never stagnant. That's why it's critical that your business stays up to date with the new development in the industry. But year 2020 changed everything. And to know more about what marketing 2021 will be all about, today we have marketers from top brands to share their experiences. But before we go ahead, I would like to request our group director to please address the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present to you Professor Chetan Wakalkar.
Thank you, Raji sir. It's absolutely exciting and a great feeling to be part of the Indira Brand Slam once again. On behalf of the entire Indira family and our chairperson, Dr. Tarita Shankar, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our distinguished awardees and speakers to Indira Brand Slam 2021. We have a great lineup of marketing minds who are here this morning. On behalf of us, let me address each one of them individually and welcome them to this summit and awards. And we are extremely grateful that they have taken out their time to spend this day with us. We have Sandeep Gupta from Reckitt Benckiser. We have Manish Gupta from Paytm, of course, one of India's largest unicorns today. We have Manoj Lalwani, who's here from Reliance, Akhilesh Pandey from Sri Maruti Courier Services, Sujan Roy from our legendary Tata Motors, and of course, we have Rishikar Krishnan, who's from Radio Mirchi, a brand which has touched our lives over the years. Well, it's been rightly said that marketing takes a short time to learn, but it literally takes a lifetime to master. And I think a platform like Indira Brand Summit allows every Indirite to get exposed to some of these masters of marketing of the corporate world who have been invited by the corporate relations team of Indira today to be a part of this summit. I think there is no better way of understanding the nuances of a business program and the fundamentals, and better than getting them how it's applied in the practical world through the expertise which all these stalwarts will be sharing with us today. I think Indira Brand Slam and many other industry academia interfaces, which are very much a part of Indira's learning experience, add tremendous value to the learning which the students derive over the couple of years they spend with us, where we do our best, of course, to mold their careers. So without further ado, let us uh, start the award ceremony, and excitingly look forward to hearing each one of the speakers take us through their journey of marketing and branding, which is one of the most exciting verticals of any business education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for those introductory words and address. Now we move ahead to the most awaited virtual award ceremony as we present to you the Indira Marketing Excellence Award 2021 at the Indira Brand Slam Summit and Awards. To do the honors, I would like to now request one of the most talented faculty of Indira School of Business Study, Professor Shikha Sandhu. Ma'am, please take over.
Thank you so much, sir. So thank you, Reggie, sir. It's now time to acknowledge the contribution of the corporate stalwarts present among us by conferring upon, as Reggie, sir just said, Indira Brand Slam 2021 award upon them. Don't work for recognition, but do work worthy of recognition. Our awardees today are strong believers of said saying. The amazing work done by them, their team, and their organizations, especially in difficult and uncertain times in which we had been living for 1 year, is exactly what we needed to keep ourselves positive. Thank you for the amazing resilience shown by you and the company you represent. Thank you for keeping the hopes high, hopes to sail through the uncertainty. And thank you for making us believe that if you can, we can make it too. Thank you for showing us the path from surviving to thriving. On that note, let us move on to the award ceremony. Please allow me to have the pleasure of announcing the names of our very deserving awardees. Please put your hands together for our first awardee, Head of Supply Chain and Logistics, General Manager Operations, Paytm Mall, Mr. Manish Gupta. Manish, sir, can we have a few words from you? How you're feeling at the moment?
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. So during pandemic, we found extremely challenging to continue with the logistic operation. But we talked with the government authorities, IS officer, and get the e-passes for our delivery boys, and then we started the e-commerce. And during the first week of lockdown, is basically the 1st to 14th April 2020, we were able to deliver more than 1 lakh shipments.
Wow.
That during that lockdown. And as of now, Paytm is like charging our sellers lesser logistic charges as compared to Amazon and Flipkart. It's a public information. You can just Google it out. And that too at a less than 10% of volume of Amazon, Flipkart. And still we are logistically profitable, though Amazon and Flipkart are losing money. So that's we have done during this lockdown. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to hear from you. Our next awardee, Global Brand Director, Dettol, Reckitt Benckiser, Mr. Sandeep Gupta. We will be felicitating Sandeep, sir, in person just before his session. But just have a round of applause for Sandeep, sir. Our next awardee is Chief Marketing Officer, Reliance Broadcast Network, Big FM, Mr. Manoj Lalwani. Manoj, sir, 2 words from you.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good start to the coming up weekend. Thank you. It was a tough year for all of us, 2020. And it really matters a lot when you're recognized for all the effort that you've done in this year. I'm going to be talking about it in the presentation, some of the things that we did during this time, but yeah, really Thank you, Ray, all of you, for recognizing all the efforts that Big FM has done in these times. Thank you.
Our pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on. Please now put your hands together for Head Passenger Vehicles International Business Tata Motors Limited, Mr. Sujan Roy. Sujan, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
The pandemic was especially challenging for exports because we export to a lot of small countries who were far more critically affected than India. And it has been a challenging time, but we've seen the markets pick up both in India and exports. And that is something which makes us look at the future with a lot of hope and positivity. Thank you so much. I hope the positivity continues everywhere.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Now we have Regional Head, Rest of Maharashtra, Shri Maruti Courier Services Private Limited, Mr. Akhilesh Pandey. A round of applause for Akhilesh, sir. Akhilesh, sir.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So, like my colleague said, we were also one of the companies who were not shut down even for a day, and we were tirelessly fueling the economy of the country by continuing our operations. We were into essential services and helping the backbone of manufacturing to ensure that the supplies reach from one point to another. And I am really delighted and happy to see such exuberant and motivated and smiling faces this morning. I hope we contribute something for the benefit of the students, and what we do actually after getting educated. That is the prime motive, which I think will be discussed in a lot of presentations, including mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure to have you. Last but not the least, we have Assistant Vice President, Brand Solutions, Radio Mirchi, Mr. Rishikar Krishna. Rishikar, sir.
Unfortunately, Shikha ma'am, Rishikar could not join just now, but so he will accept the award at the session time.
Okay, ma'am. No problem. So with this, we have concluded the award ceremony. We congratulate our awardees for having won the awards, and once again, kudos for the great work that you and your organizations are doing. It's indeed a matter of pride for us to have host you. Let us now invite our awardees to share their thoughts with us on some very important topics. Our first speaker is Mr. Manish Gupta, Head of Supply Chain and Logistics General Manager, Operations, Paytm Mall. Sir has 10 years of work experience in business roles, e-commerce, operations, supply chain, procurement and sourcing, logistics, project management, and sales and marketing. The list is quite long. He is highly process-driven individual with an interest in TOC and CCPM, critical project management, critical chain project management. He is currently working in the core strategic team of Paytm Mall as head of supply chain and logistics at Paytm. His job responsibilities include first mile, last mile, and reverse logistics, warehousing, FTL, logistics products, logistics CST, and P&L ownership for both in-house and external businesses. Prior to this, he had worked with Mahindra Logistics, Realization Technologies, Samsung Electronics, ITC Limited, and NMDC Limited. He did management post-graduation from IIM Ahmedabad, Civil Engineering from NIT Durgapur, and CFA Level 2 from CFA Institute, USA. Today, he'll be addressing us on the topic From Surviving to Thriving, Reimagining the Post-COVID-19 Return. On that note, over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Shikha, for a very warm welcome.
Pleasure.
And so our topic is From Surviving to Thriving, and that to reimagining the post-COVID-19 world. So to just bring to the attention, I'll just move on to the When did COVID started? So COVID basically started in December 2019. The first case was reported, and by April 20, the half of the world population was under lockdown, and 4 billion people in more than 90 countries have been asked for order to stay at home by their governments. And the world has undergone the deepest global recession, which was even more severe than the previous recession of the Great Depression, and as well as the employment rates in India soars to 24%, which is the highest till now. So how the companies, how the different sectors evolved during this COVID, how they have like reimagined this post-COVID-19 world. I'll just give simple case studies for different sectors. And I have chosen 3 sectors basically which are affected the most. One is the aviation, the flights, since nobody's traveling, the hotel industry, again, nobody's traveling, and the amusement parks. Because people are staying at home. So these 3 I have chosen which are the most impacted industries. And then I have last case study from Paytm Logistics. So my first case study is impact of COVID-19 on the aviation sector. So passenger footfall, if we see, has like reduced from 14 million to like 27,000 in April 20. So that is like the minimum which can happen. And it's the most worst hit sector with 90% of the revenue going down. And 60% of the flight movements were not happening. The revenue fall was 92%. So means from 3,000 crores to 239 airport. This is the revenue of Airport Authority of India. And then the Indian carriers also declined by 86%. Okay. And passenger traffic is started to resume, but airlines are not able to meet the financial requirements to run the operations. So that was the situation just during the April or May when the COVID started, when the lockdown started. And I will take the curious case of Indigo, how Indigo managed to overcome from COVID-19 return. So the overall impact of COVID on Indigo was that in December 2019, their profit was around 500 crores, which converted into losses of 900 crores by March 20. And by June, they were having a losses of minus 3,000 crores. And from September onwards, they started recovering. Okay. And by December, they are coming back to their normals. And by quarter ending March, they will again be profitable. What Indigo did differently, which you can say helped them to overcome from the COVID-19 barrier and come out of this lockdown with a flying colors. So what they did differently, so they converted their 10 aircrafts into freighters. So people were not moving, but obviously the goods was moving. E-commerce was promoted during the COVID, and therefore they converted their passenger aircrafts into freighters. So when you convert a passenger aircraft to a freighter, generally your flight with passengers carries a load of around 6 tons, out of which 1 or 2 tons is taken by the passengers. And you have only 4 to 5 tons, which is left for like the cargo. But if you convert into a freighter, you get the capacity of around 17 to 20 tons. And taking by the account of like 50 to 60 rupees a kg for the air freights, they are able to generate the revenue which they were generating earlier. That is around 6 to 7 lakh per flight. Now, due to the increased demand, there was a sharp rise in international cargo rates. Most of us will be knowing that the freights of oceans has been more than doubled during the COVID lockdown, and still they are like operating at 80% above than the previous rates. So somewhere the rates have been changed from 1,000 per ton to 3,000 per ton for the air freights. And the viability of cargo flights was making sense during this COVID. So converting those passenger freights to flights to freighter makes sense. And they also started international cargo flying. So Indigo is majorly a domestic player with a very limited international presence, but they started flying to China, Middle East, and other countries carrying a decent amount of cargo to get out of this COVID lockdown. And this move is supported by all the government because transportation has become a major challenge during this COVID environment. And also what Indigo did, Indigo has a large mix of fleet, and out of which they have been facing efficiency issues with their A320s, which was their old generation aircraft and which used to burn more fuel and have higher maintenance cost. So during COVID, what they did, since the operation was almost halted for the first 1 or 2 months, they converted their A320s into more better efficiencies plane, which reduced their operational cost. And these are the steps which Indigo has taken to move out from the COVID-19 barrier. So that way, you can say that though there was a lockdown, but yes, if you have the zeal, if you have the dedication, if you have the objective clear in your mind that we have to come out from this lockdown, companies are able to do so. And one such case is Indigo in the aviation sector. Now we'll move to our next case study, which is on Wonderla amusement parks. So again, amusement parks are the first hit segment due to COVID-19 return. So Wonderla is one of the largest chain of amusement parks in India. It is headquartered in Bangalore, and it operates 3 amusement parks in Kochi, Bangalore, and Hyderabad, and 1 resort in Bangalore. So before pandemic, Wonderla financial performance was like seeing a very good growth. They were improving at a monthly rate of around 15 to 20% of CAGR. And it's a debt-free company. Before pandemic, they have liquid assets of 120 crores in mutual funds and bank fixed deposits, which is a very good financial indicator for an amusement park. It is a cash-rich and comfortably positioned going concern. And you can see the revenue is improving from 100 crores in March 11 to like 270 crores. But what happened during pandemic? So management decided to temporarily shut down the operation in the month of March 20. Kochi Park was closed in 11th March. Bangalore, Hyderabad were closed from 14th and 15th March respectively. The management has tested its park for impairment as of 31st March 2020. Each of the park has been considered as a separate cash generating unit. The recoverable value was adequate, which is enough to carrying the value of each parks, and accordingly, the impairment was recorded at 31st March 20. Q4 FY20 revenue from operation was impacted due to shutdown during March, and therefore it saw a 30% decline from 600 millions to 400 millions, with a 31% decline in footfall. The ticket revenue reduced by 31% and non-ticket revenue reduced by 29%. Bangalore Park witnessed a degrowth of 40%, and Kochi Park see a reduction of footfall by 30% and Hyderabad by 22%. That is during the Q4 as well as the starting just before the start of lockdown. EBITDA reduced by 72% year on year from 170 millions to 50 millions. EBITDA margin also decreased from 29% to 12%. PAT reduced by 78%. Cash PAT reduced by 30% from 170 million to 120 million. So this is the impact of pandemic on Wonderla, that too during the Q4 of FY20, that is Jan 20 to March 20. So in April, the park didn't work. So the revenue is almost zero. So what they do to battle with the crisis? They started managing their operating expenses, reduction in employee cost, advertising and marketing cost at bare minimum, reduction in R&M expenses, overheads, control, and including consultancy contracts. So these are like the measures which they have adopted to reduce their operating expenses. They are also understood till the time vaccine is not available and domestic travel is restricted, they are not going to get more footfalls. Therefore, the strategy team started working extensively to attract people to their park through various initiatives like digital marketing, branding, loyalty program, launching events like mascot Chiku, etc. The F&B initiative Wonder Kitchen at Kangri started in Bangalore on 17 June, and they achieved sale of around 2 lakhs in 12 days of operations. The company planned to open more Wonder Kitchens and different cities like Bangalore and Kochi during the pandemic. And finally, they reopened their Bangalore park on 13th November with a discounted price of 699, which they again increased by 23rd December to 999. So basically, that is the way they attracted people. So their initial price was 999, and they reduced the price by 300 rupees during the restart, and they get back to their normal pricing during the last week of December, which is the new celebration when the sale is going to come. And similarly, the Kochi park reopened on 24 December, and with the invitation price again of 699. And now the company is highly optimistic about the reopening of the economy and its being going concern. So basically, what we learned from this case study is since if we compare both the aviation as well as the amusement park, so in aircrafts, it doesn't make sense to stop the operation for a longer period of time. So they shifted from passenger to freights, the cargo movement. And in terms of amusement park, by shutting down, they can control their, they can stop their expenses to almost zero. They did that for around 5-6 months, and then they reopened with managing their operating expenses to keep it minimum. And then now they are again generating revenues, and they are going to be again profitable by the Q2 of 22 FY22. So that's the way Wonderla has also come out from the pandemic. Now we will move to the third case study, which is the hotel industry, and we have taken Marriott International. So Marriott International is one of the world's leading hoteliers. They have began their operation in 1927, and they focus on expanding the hotel business. The company changed its name to Marriott Corp in 1967. Marriott splits its operations and into two companies in 1993, that is Host Marriott to own hotels and Marriott International Primary to manage them. So now the impact of pandemic on Marriott International. So COVID-19 has affected every sector, and the hospitality is the biggest impacted sector, one of the biggest impacted sector. And it's the largest hotel chain and the 92-year-old company. And the depression due to COVID was again more severe than the World War II and the Great Depression. The RevPAR, which is basically the revenue per available room, has reduced by 60%, that too during March 20. And RevPAR fall to 90%, means fall about 90% worldwide during the April 20. And by May, it started to improve slightly, but again, only the 15% of the pre-COVID revenue. So basically, still there is an 85% decrease. And this industry, lodging industry, is impacted by the pandemic. And overall, the RevPAR was down by 84-85% during the April to June quarter. So this is the impact of pandemic on the hotel industry. Now, what they did to overcome from this? So they battled. They initiated multiple projects, like the project We Care. The key component of recovery plan was to communicate the guest and associate about their focus on health and safety and giving them confidence that they need to travel and stay with them. They set up Global Cleanliness Council, which focused on elevating cleanliness levels and hospitality norms to meet the health and safety challenges presented by the new environment. They started working to reduce the frequency of contact between associate and guest by using technology and artificial intelligence. The RevPAR improved in July slightly and was to 30%, basically down by 70% in comparison to April, which was 90% degrowth. And the global occupancy level were also increasing constantly after April, though at varying rates for different hotels, and reached around 30% by July. And by July, only 9% of the global properties remain closed. So 90% of the hotels across globe have reopened by July 20. Though the travel was minimal, but it makes sense to reopen the hotels, because it is a common norm in the hotel industry that it is better to operate hotels at less occupancy rates of around 10% rather than keeping them closed, because the expenses are there. You cannot fire all your staff. The electricity bill is going to be there. All these stuff will be there. So operating expense and everything will be there. So they started to come back from this pandemic. They started creating offerings such as Fall for Travel, October Week of Wonder. And these programs were highly successful. At end of October, the company announced work from anywhere packages, which were designed to capture additional revenue just driven by the remote work trend only. And they have set up other programs like Marriott on Wheels. So they started supplying these catering facility through Zomato, Swiggy, and all that stuff. They started ambassador members can give platinum program off-peak rates for most hotels, elite status leg up. So that way they came out with different strategic moves, different marketing programs to come back strongly during the COVID world. And though the RevPAR as of now is still below 2019 level and expected to take some time to fully recover, but the focus is on restructuring the organization to reduce cost on a more sustainable basis, both at the corporate property and the hotel level, so that the company operates more efficiently today and going forward. So this is the way Marriott International came out from COVID. So with this, we move to our next case study, which is about the Paytm Logistics. So when the lockdown was announced during March 2020, as a supply chain head of Paytm, I don't have any clue what I have to do now. Means there are orders which are at the delivery centers which are yet to be delivered. There are few orders which are pick up from the seller and are at the pickup center, and now the movement has been closed. So there are like million of orders which are in the pipeline, more than million shipments, which are still in the pipeline in the different warehouses of the different couriers in different cities. And there is a lockdown. We don't know what will do with these million shipments, how we are going to move the shipments, whether the customer are going to cancel the orders, whether they are asking for refund and all that stuff. So we started proactive communication with the customer that just when the lockdown will reopen, we'll deliver the shipments. And by end of March, on 29th March 20, government gave freedom to e-commerce to run their operation for same city logistics. So the intercity was banned during that time and only same city started. So we started delivering back the orders. The couriers don't know how to start the process, how to restart the process. So we talked with the different government agencies, the IS officers, to get the e-passes for our couriers, for our delivery boys, and started the delivering of products. And from 1st March to 14th March, that is during the peak lockdown when there was almost negligible movement, we were able to deliver more than 1 lakh shipments. We were able to refund the shipment to the sellers and refund the amount to the customers for the shipments, which we couldn't deliver during that stage due to the lockdown constraint. And we restarted the business. And we started getting new orders. And by May 20, we were operating at our pre-COVID level, that is 1 million orders on a monthly level. So like from 0 to 1 million within 45 days. So that way, we restarted our e-commerce operation and we are able to achieve the post-COVID level just within 45 days. And apart from that, when we were going through this journey, we found that logistics is a problem for multiple companies. Though we are able to solve it partially and fully by May 2020, we found that many of the companies are not able to solve this problem. And therefore, we started providing logistics as a service to external customers as well. So previously, our logistic function was working only for Paytm deliveries, only for delivery of Paytm FASTag QR codes. But we started delivering for our customers. And surprisingly, during that COVID, when we just started this operation, what we found, there are different customers, like big customers like Coca-Cola, Amway, Symphony, they are finding challenging. And we discussed with our management that we have a good network of 3PL players. So we have like 11 national couriers which are working for us. We are delivering to all the 26,000 pin codes of India, and our ship to deliver time is less than 3 days. And in terms of reverse shipping, we are picking up products for 25,000 pin codes, and our pickup time is 1 day. When the customer requests, within 24 hours, we pick up. And we have the infrastructure in terms of warehouses, and we have the cross-border arrangement as well, wherein we can do both import and export of e-commerce shipment. And we have the capacity of 2 million shipments a day. And though our current volume is only 1 million per month. So obviously we can utilize our spare capacity to do the deliveries for other customers. And we started doing deliveries for different companies like Coca-Cola, Amway, Symphony, Sugar Cosmetics, and all these companies. And this new vertical is formed, which is called Logistics as a Service inside Paytm. And the revenue is constantly increasing from April 20 onwards. So what all services we are covering in this Paytm Logistics? So we are doing last mile deliveries. So this we do for distributors, SME brands. So brands like Symphony distributors, the Symphony distributors, we are operating at a one-to-many model wherein we pick Symphony coolers from the distributor and deliver it to their dealers. And we do milk run. And we also do trip model for these kind of deliveries. We do deliveries for Asian Paints. Then we started Sell Anywhere same inventory. Okay. So during COVID, before COVID, people are like, if they want to sell their product on Amazon or Flipkart, they have to keep separate inventory. But at Paytm, what we did is, you keep our inventory in our warehouses, and the same inventory will be live in all your e-commerce marketplaces with the same inventory. You don't have to keep separate, say 10 units each for Paytm, Flipkart, Snapdeal, and so on. You just can have 10 units, which will be live on all Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Paytm, all marketplaces. And whenever there is a sale, 1 unit will be reduced from all the platforms. So that way we came up with this model. We started transaction-based warehousing requirement. So generally, if you want to start your own warehouse, you start with at least minimum space of 5 to 10,000 square feet, and that increase results in a monthly expense of 3 to 5 lakhs. But what we did is we started providing transaction-based warehouse requirements. So if any brand, any distributor wants to have, say, only 1,000 orders a month, we are going to charge only for 1,000 orders. We are not going to charge for any manpower. We are not going to charge for any rental. We are all the transaction will be variable. So there will be no fixed fee for the warehousing operation. That's a totally new model. And then we started multi-user facility, and which increase our shipping time, because if you are operating from a single warehouse, more is the volume, more is the shipping speed. So if we have multi-user facility wherein in the same aisle you have inventory stored for all the marketplaces as well as the the D2C brands as well as the non-e-commerce operation, you are able to ship it faster. We've started working as courier aggregator. We pick up and delivery across India. We have the pan-India reach and the most competitive prices. And also we started the movers and packer services for both customers, B2C and as well as B2B. So generally you have seen there is an initiative of campus to home, which is done by Gati, and they like charge some like $1,000 for transporting a 20 kg box. Generally, this facility is used by college students only when they vacate their colleges in the final semester, after the end of the final semester. And we started these services, and we started good movements. We help people shifting their houses because most of the offices were closed and the people are moving back from metro cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai to their hometowns, which are in like Rajasthan, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh. So that way we did their logistics, as well as we provided warehousing services for storing their apartment goods so that they can get their rent, monthly rent, which is say like 20,000 or 30,000 in a city like Mumbai, and store those products in a warehouse at say 3,000 to 5,000 a month and save 25,000 a month. And when the lockdown will reopen and their office will restart, they can shift back to their apartments. So they don't have to like get their goods moved from say Mumbai to Patna. They can store their goods in Mumbai only. Instead of a flat, they can store it in warehouse, and then when the lockdown reopens, they can again go back to their flats. So that way we started this service offerings under Paytm Logistics. And this new business is totally in line with our vision of omni-channel e-commerce. So as a Paytm, we are not a traditional e-commerce. We are a mix of both traditional, local, and local commerce, wherein we are providing offline to online as well as online to offline sales, as well as we provide endless aisle to our customers. And all these facilities, all these services gets a better value proposition when we add logistics as a service to all these services. So therefore, it becomes synergical to our existing business. And what we did, since Paytm already has a catalog and already has an order management system on their app. Okay, so what we did is we onboarded Symphony distributors and dealers on our app itself, and they are able to choose their shop, their type of the coolers, and then they can ask for delivery. So instead of paying the amount for the cooler, now the people are paying for the amount of delivery of the cooler. So that's like 349 for a delivery of a medium size of a cooler for a same city delivery. So now a dealer which is like pre-COVID was doing his deliveries via rickshaw or an auto rickshaw or a Tata Ace, now can use Paytm Logistics and just do a booking on the Paytm app and can get it cooler delivered to the customer, and the distributor can get it delivered to its dealer. So that way. We started with a zero revenue in April because the business was just started. This is just the external revenue. And we crossed 1 crore by December 20. So that's the way we grew. And we don't have to like incur any major new expenses. We just have to build the technology, which is under preparation as of now. Because we run this project as a pilot for the first 6 months till the time we cross the revenue of 1 crore. And now the technology is getting developed, and this will be open for all the users by end of June 21. And for the customer operations, we don't have to like do much of the changes in our app, in our Paytm app. We just have to add new categories and new subcategories to make the operation live, and which can be seen from the presentation. And we got multiple appreciation from our customers, and one of the appreciation is given below. So that way we came back from COVID strongly, and also with the start of a new business. So that's a story of from surviving to thriving. So about Paytm Logistics. So that's it from my side. The floor is open for questions.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, and thanks for such a comprehensive session, comprehensive presentation, especially explaining the concept, especially the impact of COVID by a case study method. You took a case of Indigo,
Hello.
Wonderla amusement park, Merit
Good morning.
International, and of course the Paytm logistics. Oh, I didn't realize my video was off. Of course, the Paytm logistics, the steps taken by you, your organization to combat with the challenges. Thank you so much once again. So on that note, we'll move on to questions and answers. So students have sent us some questions. So I'll call out the name of the student, and then you'll be unmuted by the IT team, and you can directly ask the question to the speaker. So first we have Atharva Dangat. Atharva, do we have you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So my question was that recently cyber threats have increased a lot, and even Paytm Mall received a data breach last year. So any steps taken by the organization towards it?
Yes, obviously, if you compare, if you have do shopping from Paytm, or if you have done, let's say, a purchase of FASTag from Paytm, you must have seen the difference. So in 2018, we used to send multiple SMSs to our customers for all their status updates. So now we have reduced the number of SMS we are sending it to the customers. Instead, we have changed it to app notification and mailers, because when you are using your messaging services, there are chances of leakage of phone numbers. But if you get away with using the phone numbers altogether, just by doing the app notification and Gmail and mailers, you are not using the phone numbers, and therefore there is no chance of leakage of such phone numbers. So we have, like, in-house build our data team strongly and start and reduce the usage of phone numbers, so that the chance of leakage automatically reduces.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And also one more thing, your views on your
Kunal.
biggest competitors.
Yeah. So our competitor is ourselves only. So we compete with ourselves. So if we compete with Amazon, Flipkart, they are generally the traditional e-commerce player. Obviously, they are doing more volumes than Paytm. But our motto is not to be the number one e-commerce site of the country. We want to be the number one app of the country. So Paytm is a super app. You can book train tickets, you can do travel, you can do hotel booking, you can do everything. You can do a cab booking. We have integration with Zomato. You can do a food delivery. You can buy products from your nearby store. So all these things. So we want to be the super app of India, because we have the largest traffic in India. So like 60 crores of the population of India is live on Paytm. We have a aim of 0.5 billion by like end of 2020, but we achieved 60 billion by 2019 only. And with this, what we do is, so when we started this FASTag project, okay, so Paytm was only having a market share of 2% in November 19, okay, and then the deadline of 1st December 2019 came by the government that the FASTag will be mandatory, and this deadline is getting postponed by 1st December to 15 December and then to 15 January. And now it is getting implemented in state highways also from 15 February 2021. So with these deadlines, when people want to purchase FASTag very fast, and they want to get it delivered very fast to their houses, obviously the traditional players like ICICI, which was operating at a market share of 70% plus during November 19, failed. So their market share reduced from 70 to 35%. And Paytm market share increased from 2 to 40%. Why? Because we already have 60 crore people on our app. So it's just the matter of providing the right product at the right time, like the Paytm wallet at the time of demonetization, or the FASTag at the time of the FASTag deadline. You are able to run the business. Just by burning money, just by providing discount, we don't want to operate. So we keep our business profitable, sustainable for the long run, instead of just taking money from the investor and burning it. So you can imagine the kind of funding Amazon, Flipkart take on year basis. So the yearly spend is around 10,000 crores just to give discounts. So these discount customers, whenever there will be no discount, obviously Paytm is the first app which most of the people in India have downloaded in their mobiles for using payments. So when there will be no discount for PhonePe and these Amazon Pay and the Google Pay, obviously people will come back to Paytm. So we don't want to fight that discount war with the competitors. We want to focus with our business model and want to be profitable, because we know when the money will finishes for the discount and for the cashbacks, automatically everyone when wants to become the sustainable, then the core skill set which you have prepared, like we did what in FASTag, in 45 days, we increase our market share to 2 to 40%, becomes the largest player of the country in terms of FASTag. So we can do that. So we are building a skill set so that we can take a flight like a rocket at the right time. That's it.
Thank you, sir. And
Thank
very
you,
well
sir.
said. Very well said. Paytm indeed has become very integral part of our lives. And about the FASTag, I can personally vouch for what you just said by the personal experience. Okay. On that note, we have next question from Krunal Koshi. Do we have Krunal unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Krunal, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hi, Krunal.
Yes, sir. So I'm from ISBA's PGDM Finance Batch 2020-22. So my question is, has the company undertaken a fundamental rethink with respect to using advanced data analytics to combine new sources of data such as satellite imaging to make better and faster decisions, enabling optimized supply chain and logistic costs?
Yes. So we are working on a means you can say the advanced data analytics as well as the machine learning part. So in terms of, I'll just give you an example of our courier rule engine. So what does courier rule engine does? So just like a Google search engine, we have a courier rule engine wherein for every shipment. So if we are doing say more than million shipment a month, so you can imagine the kind of volume which we have on a daily basis. It's like 35,000 orders a day, which is like 1,500 orders an hour, which is like 30 orders in a second. So our system is calculating the score for every order, for every courier. So for every shipment, we have an origin pin code and we have a destination pin code. And for this combination, which is called ODPR in logistics, we have different courier TAT and different courier cost and different courier historical performance as well as last 7 days performance. And basis that we assign certain score to a courier depending on the weightage we have given to which factor. And basis that the system allocates it to courier. So it's not like these 5,000 pin codes will be done by Blue Dart and these 5,000 pin codes will be done by delivery. For every shipment, all the couriers are competing. So we don't have to chase couriers much for our delivery, because if they are not performing well, the 7 days performance will be taken into account by the data system. And though they might have the best price for that ODPR combination for that shipment, but they will not get that shipment because on the composite score calculated by the machine learning algorithm, they might fail. They might be the second scorer and the best performing courier will get the shipment. So that way we are doing it for everything in our supply chain, in our FTL transportation and our courier operation, and everything. We are using machine learning algorithms.
Thank you, sir. So we have one question from Vishal Rupavani. Vishal, you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
First of all, sir, I would like to thank you for joining us in the meet and providing us such a valuable opportunity to learn from you and providing your views on such an important topic. And as for my question, sir, recently I have come across a news that Paytm Mall is forging a partnership with Future Group, Reliance, and Big Basket for its O2O business venture. So as a general manager, how do you perceive this change, and what are the impact you see on the company due to these changes?
So this is a very positive change. I'll just give you an example. Like I said that Zomato is live on Paytm. Similarly, we have tie-up with Big Basket. You can do a Big Basket shopping via Paytm app as well. And Big Basket will fulfill the order. So why we have done this? So we have seen that there are different companies which are getting different funding at a different point of time and they are burning money. So what we did, we don't want to burn that way. Okay, so we have tied with all these companies like Zomato, Big Basket, and all these companies which are doing good job in sourcing their products. Okay, so Zomato is a best sourcer in terms of getting the food, the prepared food. And the same way, Big Basket is the best sourcer in terms of groceries. So that way. So what we have done tie-up and we are providing logistic help to them. 90% of the cases they are able to solve their logistics, and 10% of the cases where they are not able to solve their logistics, we provide the logistics support. And we provide our Paytm app, which again has the highest user in India. Means basically after Facebook or WhatsApp, I think Paytm is the most downloadable app in the country. And that way, this tie-up is helping us. We are not losing any money because all the discount, all the cash fund is done by the company itself, the Big Basket and the Zomato. We are just charging a small commission, and we are providing the service, and we are basically giving the access to the service by more people, so that because in Zomato might be, or in Big Basket, when they just started their operation, their traffic is very less as compared to the Paytm traffic. But when they are live on Paytm, obviously their reach increase. So that way, this tie-up is making sense to us, and we are not in the burning business. And it's, I think, is a sustainable way of doing business. Just live and let others live.
Thank you so much, sir. So,
Thank you, sir.
The last question. There's a girl, Shambhavi Parashar. She has sent it to me on the chat box, and she says that, do you see any major shift in supply chain and logistics driven by the pandemic?
Yes, since the e-commerce has increased by double in most of the countries.
Mhm.
In India also it is increased by 50%. And the groceries has seen an increase of 300% as a category. Okay, that I'm talking about the online commerce part. So obviously, if your online commerce is increasing, what is online commerce? What is the difference between online and offline? It is just the logistics. In offline, you go and purchase the product. In online, it gets delivered to your house. So the major difference is you get a better reach, the better catalog on your app, and you get the product delivered at your home. So obviously, when the online commerce is increasing, the supply chain is going to increase. And when the supply chain is going to increase, obviously the economy is going to increase, because supply chain, basically the logistic is the 14% of Indian GDP. And if that 14% of the GDP is increasing at a 50% rate, obviously the economy is going to increase. So, and you can see in the world logistic also post-pandemic, that the supply chain people are getting now more important. If you see in terms of how an organization would work, since many of the students are attending this workshop. So if you see the world before 1980s or 1970s, generally the people who are from the production department used to be the CEOs of the organizations. Because at that point of time, production was a constant. But from 1975 onwards, you can say the trend changed. And now the sales people are generally the CEOs of the organization. Why? Because now the production is no more a constant. Everybody has those Six Sigma and the Lean and all these operation management concepts, and they are able to produce goods at a better cost. Now the sales is the bottleneck. So that's why more of the sales people are getting into CEO. So if the students are discussing in the hostel rooms, they will be discussing, if I want to be the CEO, I must have a sales experience. So that is the current mindset. But post-pandemic, what I have seen is a change of tradition. Though the change is at a very slow rate, but yes, now the supply chain people are becoming more important in organization. So you can see multiple companies which are traditionally only offline are coming online from this year. So Symphony has started their online commerce from this year. You can just purchase Symphony coolers online by ordering on their website, which was not there previously. From this year, they have started this. Similarly, if I take an example of a company like a Sugar Cosmetic, which is a startup, which is both online and offline, but online, they were only a subscription-based service. They have started selling online, and their online volume has increased their overall business to such an extent that their revenue for this year will be 6 times the revenue of the previous year. That too, taking into account the COVID environment. So you can see the difference, how these companies are going online. And when the companies are going online, obviously the supply chain is the crux of the online commerce. That way I see a very good growth in supply chain as well as the future.
Thank you, Manish sir. Thank you so much. So those were the questions, and thank you for explaining everything in a very detailed and yet very simplified manner. We are very sure that our students have gained a lot of insights from your address, and the very fact that they have been posting many questions in the chat box is hallmark of the fact that they were totally intrigued by the information and the knowledge shared by you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you. Students, due to paucity of time, We'll have to move on to the next speaker and cannot take all the questions that you have been posting in the chat box. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Shikha. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so our next speaker is Mr. Sandeep Gupta, Global Brand Director Dettol, Reckitt Benckiser. Sir is a marketing evangelist, the recipient of Pitch Top 50 Awards, #1 brand manager and category manager for Reckitt Benckiser. Mr. Gupta is IIM Kozhikode alumnus. Started his journey at Reckitt Benckiser as a management trainee in 2009, held various